Hello students, we'll continue with our discussion on solutions in this chapter as well, which is solutions part 2nd. Let's start with ideal solution. An ideal solution can be defined as a solution which obeys Raoult's law at all concentrations and temperatures. I hope you remember Raoult's law, which we discussed in the last chapter. According to Raoult's law, the vapor pressure of a solution containing non-volatile solute is proportional to the mole fraction of the solvent present in the solution. Now it's quite evident because as we can deduce that there will be no contribution by the non-volatile solute to the vapor pressure of the solution. So we can say that an ideal solution will exhibit some general characteristics. First of all, as we just now discussed, that it will obey Raoult's law at all concentrations and temperatures. The second characteristic is that delta V for solution will be equal to 0. That is, there will be no change in volume in the formation of an ideal solution. Also, delta H for the solution will be equal to 0. That is, heat will neither be absorbed nor released during the formation of an ideal solution. If we plot a graph between the vapor pressure of an ideal solution and its composition in terms of mole fraction, assuming that this ideal solution is composed of two components A and B, then this is the kind of graph we obtain. These two axes, which are vertical in direction, show the vapor pressure. This axis shows the vapor pressure of pure B component, and this axis shows the vapor pressure of pure A component. On this axis is plotted the composition of the solution in terms of mole fraction. At this end, the mole fraction of component A is 0, and here it becomes 1, where the mole fraction of B reaches from 1 to 0. In this case, the vapor pressure of pure A is higher and more volatile than B. It is assumed in ideal solution that the chemical interaction between the two liquids is equal to the bonding between the liquids. The solutions can be categorized as ideal or non-ideal based on their compliance to the Raoult's law. So those solutions which do not obey Raoult's law are known as non-ideal solution. So we can say that the characteristics of a non-ideal solution are: the vapor pressure of a non-ideal solution is higher or lower than that predicted by Raoult's law. So if we plot a graph between the vapor pressure of the solution and the composition of the solution in terms of mole fractions, then we observe that the observed vapor pressure is always lower or higher than that predicted by the Raoult's law in case of non-ideal solution. So the solution shows positive deviation for Raoult's law if its pressure is higher than that predicted by Raoult's law. And the solution will show negative deviation in the graph if its vapor pressure, that is the observed vapor pressure, is lower than that predicted by Raoult's law. The vapor pressures predicted by Raoult's law will be those for ideal solutions. This is the graph for a non-ideal solution which shows positive deviation from Raoult's law. This is the ideal vapor pressure, that is the vapor pressure predicted by Raoult's law, and this is the actual vapor pressure of the mixture that is being observed. Now at times the vapor pressure which is observed can be as high as this much. That is, the vapor pressure of the mixture will be higher than the vapor pressure of any of the solvent, which is A in this case. Now why is the observed vapor pressure higher than the ideal vapor pressure? The reason is that the intermolecular forces between the molecules of A and B are weaker as compared to those in their pure states. So the intermolecular bonds in the solution will break more easily as compared to the pure liquids A and B. Now the change in enthalpy observed on mixing the two will be endothermic as well. That is, heat will be absorbed instead of being released. The example of this kind of solution which shows positive deviation from Raoult's law is the solution of ethyl alcohol and water. The forces acting between their molecules in the solution are weaker as compared to the hydrogen bonds between the molecules of pure water and dipole-dipole forces between pure ethanol molecules. Now this is the graph for a non-ideal solution showing negative deviation from Raoult's law. By negative deviation we mean that the vapor pressure which is observed is lower than that predicted by Raoult's law. Now at times this graph can be like this, in which the lowest vapor pressure is still observed to be that of one of the pure solvents, and at times the vapor pressure of the mixture can be lower than the vapor pressure of any of the pure solvents. Now why the observed vapor pressure is lower than the ideal vapor pressure? It is because the intermolecular forces between the molecules of A and B are stronger in the solution as compared to those in their pure states. The intermolecular bonds will break with more difficulty in the mixture as compared to the pure liquids A and B. So the change in enthalpy observed on mixing the two will be exothermic, that is, heat will be released. Example of such a solution can be the mixture of nitric acid plus water. They react together to give nitrate ions and hydronium ions in the solution. These ions have strong ionic attractive forces acting between them as compared to the intermolecular forces acting in their pure state. Therefore, they show a negative deviation from Raoult's law. We discussed Raoult's law and Henry's law in the last chapter in detail. If you remember, then according to Raoult's law, the vapor pressure of a volatile component in a given solution is directly proportional to the mole fraction of that component. So mathematically, we can write Raoult's law as PA is equal to P naught A into XA, where PA is the vapor pressure of the volatile component in the solution. P naught A is the vapor pressure of that component in its pure state, and XA is the mole fraction of that component in the solution. We also discussed Henry's law, according to which the solubility of a gas in a liquid is proportional to the partial pressure of the gas. So mathematically, Henry's law is stated as P is equal to KHX, where P is the partial pressure of the gas, X is its mole fraction, and KH is Henry's constant. Now if we compare these two equations, this is the first one and this is the second one, then we can see that Raoult's law, that is this equation, becomes a special case of Henry's law in case P naught A is equal to KH. So in case of very dilute solutions, we can say that the solvent obeys Raoult's law whereas the solute obeys Henry's law. Now the properties of the solutions either depend on the nature of the particles of their components or on their numbers. So those properties of solutions which depend only upon the number of solute particles in the solution and not on their nature are known as colligative properties. They are relative lowering in vapor pressure, elevation of boiling point, depression of freezing point, and osmotic pressure. We are going to discuss these colligative properties one by one in our forthcoming slides. Now the first colligative property that we are going to discuss is the relative lowering of vapor pressure. So in this case we are assuming a solution with a volatile solvent A and a non-volatile solute denoted by B. So according to Raoult's law, the vapor pressure of the solution containing a non-volatile solute denoted by P will be equal to PA, that is the vapor pressure of the solvent in the solution form, which will be equal to P naught A XA, where P naught A is the vapor pressure of the solvent in its pure state and XA is the mole fraction of the solvent. So the lowering of vapor pressure will be the vapor pressure of the solvent in pure state minus the vapor pressure of the solvent in solution state, that is P naught A minus PA. So on substituting the value of PA from this equation in this, we get P naught A minus P naught A XA. On taking P naught A as the common quantity outside the bracket, we get P naught A 1 minus XA. We also know that the sum of the mole fractions of all the components of a solution or a mixture is always equal to 1. So in this case, we are considering a binary solution with A and B as the components. So the sum of their mole fractions denoted by XA and XB will be equal to 1. On rearranging this equation, we get the value of XB, that is XB equals 1 minus XA. This is the same quantity as given this in this equation. So on substituting this value, we get P naught A minus PA is equal to P naught A XB. Now this part is the lowering of vapor pressure. For finding the relative lowering, we have to divide it by P naught A. So P naught A minus PA divided by P naught A will be equal to this part divided by P naught A will be equal to XB. On expanding XB, we can write it is equal to NB divided by NA plus NB, where NB is the number of moles of B and NA is the number of moles of A. So we can say that according to Raoult's law, the relative lowering of vapor pressure of a solution is equal to the mole fraction of the solute. Now in case of very dilute solutions, we can write that Na plus Nb is almost equal to Na. So Nb divided by Na plus Nb is almost equal to Nb divided by Na. On substituting this value in the previous equation, we get the relative lowering of vapor pressure is equal to Nb upon Na. We can further expand this formula since we know that the number of moles of a particular component is equal to the weight of that component divided by its molar mass. So we can write Nb is equal to Wb divided by Mb and Na is equal to Wa divided by Ma. This is the final formula we get for the relative lowering of vapor pressure. Now let's have a look at an example based on the lowering of vapor pressure. The vapor pressure of a solution containing 13 gram of solute in 100 gram of water at 28 degrees centigrade is 27.371 millimeter mercury. We have to calculate the molecular weight of the solute. The vapor pressure of water at 28 degrees centigrade is 28.065 millimeter mercury. Now we know the formula of relative lowering of vapor pressure, that is P naught A minus PA divided by P naught A is equal to XB. P naught A is the vapor pressure of the pure solvent, PA is the vapor pressure of solution, and XB is the mole fraction of the solute. We can further expand XB as NB divided by Na plus NB, where NB is the number of moles of the solute and Na is the number of moles of solvent. We know that number of moles of a substance is equal to its weight divided by its molecular weight. So we can write XB equal to Wb divided by Mb upon Wa divided by Ma plus Wb divided by Mb. Now we have to substitute the given values in this and this portion of the equation. P naught A, that is the vapor pressure of pure solvent, is given to us. It is 28.065 millimeter. Pa is 27.371. Wb, that is the weight of the solute, is 13 grams. Its molecular weight has to be determined. Wa is the weight of the solvent, that is 100 grams. And we know that the molecular weight of the solvent, which is water in this case, is 18. So on substituting the values, we get 28.065 minus 27.371 divided by 28.065 is equal to 13 divided by Mb upon 100 divided by 18 plus 13 divided by Mb. On rearranging the equation, we can write that Mb is equal to 13 into 18 into 28.065 upon 100 into 0.694 minus 13 into 18 whole upon 100. On solving this and this quantity, we get 94.6 minus 2.34, which is equal to 92.3 grams. This is our final answer. Our next colligative property is the elevation of boiling point. We know that the boiling point of a liquid is the temperature at which the vapor pressure of the liquid becomes equal to the atmospheric pressure. Now, when a non-volatile solute dissolves in the solvent, its vapor pressure decreases, that is, the concentration of solvent decreases, because there is no contribution from the non-volatile solute to the vapor pressure. Therefore, we can conclude that if the solution is to be brought to the boiling point, we have to raise its temperature more as compared to that in the pure solvent. Now, for a dilute solution, the elevation in boiling point is found to be proportional to the molality of the solution. So, if delta Tb represents the elevation in the boiling point and small m as usual denotes the molality, we can write that delta Tb is proportional to m, or delta Tb is equal to Kbm, where Kb is the molar elevation constant. It is also known as the boiling elevation constant. It is equal to the elevation in boiling point when 1 mole solute is dissolved in 1000 grams of solvent. In this case, the solute is non-volatile and solvent is volatile. So, on substituting the value of m, that is molality, in this equation, we can write that delta Tb is equal to Kb into the value of molality, that is 1000 into Wb, divided by Mb into Wa, where Wb is the weight of the solute, Mb is the molecular weight of the solute, and Wa is the weight of the solvent. We know that Wb divided by Mb is the number of moles of the solute, which can be denoted by Mb. So we can write this formula as delta Tb is equal to Kb into 1000 into Mb divided by Wa.